In today's world, water is a very precious resource. Any country with large water reserves is viewed by many as very rich. Nigeria can be said to be one such country with a large body of surface and subsurface water sources. Many countries have resorted to the use of river basins as a way of utilizing their water resources to achieve sustainable and equitable socio-economic development. Nigeria has 12 river basin development authorities created between the 1970s and 80s by the federal government to harness the country's water resources and optimize Nigeria's agricultural resources for food self-sufficiency. Key objectives of establishing the river basins are to increase the production of food and attain self-sufficiency, to provide water from reservoirs and lakes under the control of the authority for irrigation purposes to farmers and recognized associations, as well as for urban water supply for public use, to develop fish farming, to undertake the mechanical clearing and cultivation of land for the production of crops and livestock, to undertake large-scale multiplication of improved seeds, to process crops, livestock products and fish produced by farmers in the authority's area in partnership with state agencies and any other private investor. To assist the state and local governments in the implementation of rural development works, which include construction of small dams, provision of power for rural electrification schemes, establishment of grazing reserves, training of staff in the authority's areas of coverage. They were also expected to bridge the ever-widening gap between the rural and urban centers by taking development to the grassroots to stem the migration of people from the rural areas to already overcrowded cities. These objectives were to be achieved through surface impoundment of water by constructing small, medium, and large dams. The 12 river basin development authorities in Nigeria are the Anambra-Imo Basin, the Benin or Wena Basin, the Chad Basin, the Cross River Basin, the Hadeja Jama'are Basin, the Lower Benue Basin, the Lower Niger Basin, the Niger Delta Basin, the Ogunshu Basin, the Sokoto Rima Basin, the Upper Niger Basin, and the Upper Benue Basin. Each river basin covers a number of states, each with vast lands for irrigation. In most cases, the river basins have led to the growth of once small rural communities into towns.
When we opened up Mokoloki was just a very small, I wouldn't even call it a satellite village under or Fada. Nobody knew Mokoloki. Even when I was posted to Mokoloki, I said, where was Mokoloki? I never heard of the name. But as of today, you see what is going on. Mokoloki now has an Oba. Mokoloki is now a town. Mokoloki is now on the map, and people there are doing very well.
By the late 70s, the river basins had become fully functional in the discharge of their mandate to enhance food production and power generation in the country. Through projects that spanned irrigation, flood control, agricultural services, and rural electrification, the river basins impacted positively on the lives of Nigerians.
The river basins were growing and they were operating at cruising altitude in terms of food production and contribution. I think the decline began about 1988 with the introduction of the privatization and commercialization policy of government. As good and as well intended as that policy was, its implementation was not in the true concept of that program, because the river basins were to be partially commercialized and privatized. But then, with a cost, government had to do some investment to bring up their infrastructure to a level where it could attract private sector participation. Government reneged on these things and then sold off, scrapped some of those things they thought was a burden to government. The equipments were scrapped, some of their functions were reduced, staff were sacked.
However, the fortunes of the authorities declined as the institutions suffered policy reversals, non-maintenance, and virtual neglect of their facilities. As a result, the River Basin Development Authorities could not live up to their expectations of contributing to the nation's pursuit for food security by reducing the country's dependence on rain-fed agriculture and increase the proportion of irrigated agriculture that would make possible 2 and sometimes 3 cropping seasons in 1 year. In line with present administration's transformation agenda, the Federal Ministry of Water Resources has restructured and is rejuvenating the river basins with activities that are already positively impacting on the economic and social life of Nigerians.
My name is Roman Usomkwechimova. I have been far for this farming. I started as early as 1975. I started with 2+ then. Now I am cropping up to 22.5 hectares. So from there I made many investments on it. I built downstairs, 2 upstairs on it. I have about 2 cars. I have Mercedes, I have Jeep on my side. Even I went as far as getting a truck to pick all my rice. I have thresher on my own. So I can say I made many improvements on it. We are cropping before the river basin, but not like this. We have a one-board farm. As you can walk from here to Lugumbo, I cannot reach up to 1 plot. So, but since they came, we continue with the farm. People were going to school. We have many cars. If you look down almost right now, you will see many houses. That we are schooling today is this project, because we don't have enough money before the time. It is this project that came, and we started getting some small money. From there we can go to school.
Chief Gabriel Muleru has been a civil servant until about 30 years ago when he ventured into agriculture. Under the Ogunshun River Basin Development Authority, his farm yield jumped by over 500% as he grew from cultivating just half a hectare to managing 4 hectares of well-irrigated farmland. We have benefited because Ogunshun River Basin Development Authority is well managed and we are enjoying it. We have built houses from the proceeds. We have bought cars. We are educating our children thanks to Ogunshun River Basin. Far up in northern Nigeria, Malam Isiaka Suleiman, who farms just beside the Shagari Dam irrigation project, shares a similar testament.
My name is Isiaka Suleiman. I'm a farmer here. I started with about maybe half a hectare, but with time I have developed my farm into about 5 hectares. Before the dam, we are more inclined to production of tomato, pepper, vegetable, cassava, what have you. But with the advent of the dam and the nature of our area has changed a lot. So we don't have enough space to farm vegetables anymore. So we go on rice, and you can see down there. Some of us have started trying sugarcane already, which is very, very profitable and it's promising. Alhamdulillah, we have been making a lot of profit. It's very, very much profitable because in a quarter of a hectare, where you may be expended, where you might have expended less than 100,000, you may be getting up to 400, 500,000. So it's a big profit. So it is with all other vegetable crops.
The Hadeja Jama'are River Basin Irrigation Project is one of the largest in Nigeria. Drawing its water from the Tiga Dam in Kano, it is mostly gravity-driven. Malam Ahmed Muhammad Tagir sheds more light on the blessings of the river basin to his community. Before this project came here, around 1975, all this place was a forest. 80% of the inhabitants migrated in search of greener pastures, some to Lagos, some to Maiduguri. As a result of the lack of work, everyone leaves and some do not return until after a year or 9 months. They leave their children and parents behind when they go. Once the rainy seasons end, everything stops. This project has, however, put a stop to our migrations. We even now host visitors from Niger who come to benefit from the river basins. As for us, we've built houses. We have money to send our children to school. Food is now surplus. We work during dry and rainy seasons. One knows where he is going, not to wake up in the morning not knowing what to do. Currently, Nigeria spends more than $2 billion annually to import 1.6 million tons of fish. The country is also the highest importer of rice and wheat in Africa, while projects abound in the river basins that have the potentials of reversing this and impacting positively on national development. For example, in the Ogunshu River Basin Development Authority, you have the Oyan Dam project, built in 1983 with a capacity for 250 million cubic meters of water. This was meant to provide water for domestic and industrial use, flood control, irrigation, and hydropower generation. While the other functions are being fully met, the hydropower generation component, capable of producing about 10 megawatts of electricity, lies uncompleted. This is in spite of the fact that most of the equipment needed to bring this to fruition have been installed. In the Anambra Imo River Basin Development Authority, the Lower Anambra Irrigation Project scheme is not able to continue to supply water for all-year irrigation because the high cost of diesel has made operating the existing water plant uneconomical.
Our Lower Anambra Irrigation Project, which I mentioned earlier, which is the largest irrigated farm which we have in this part of the country, which is dedicated entirely to rice production. It produces more than 30,000 tons of rice per annum. And you see that that project cannot operate at the designed capacity because it is a pumping scheme. It was designed as a pumping scheme. And now we have gotten another design to make it a totally gravity scheme, and so that water can reach the farms entirely by gravity. Now, when we have that, you find that you can even do 3 crops of rice, which will increase the tonnage by at least another 30 to 40%.
Also in the Sokoto Rima River Basin Development Authority, we have the famous but underutilized Zobe Dam. While the dam has plenty of water, farmers have not been able to use it for irrigation. The reason is that the construction of the channels meant to convey water to the farmlands from the dam had not been completed. The GOODLUCK Jonathan administration realizes that for Nigeria to develop and attain food sufficiency, there must be a return to agriculture. The government, as part of its transformation program, is refocusing on the river basin authorities with a view to returning them to their pride of place, a move it believes will also make agriculture the highest revenue earner for the country and also the biggest employer of labor.
The present administration is committed to transforming the agricultural sector on the recognition of the fact that it's a major sector that would drive the economy of Nigeria. As you are aware, Nigeria has always been an agricultural country. Although with the discovery of oil, we seem to have played down on the role of agriculture, but increasingly this it's becoming very important, and this administration is given the right attention and the right push to ensure that this sector is transformed And to be able to do this, we have to go beyond rain-fed agriculture. We have to engage seriously in irrigated agriculture. The Ministry of Water Resources is responsible for developing the irrigation facilities, preparing the land, constructing the canals, and also ensuring adequate source of water, either from the dams that we have or from the rivers around the country, to grow crops like rice, like sorghum, like maize, and also sugarcane to support the agricultural transformation agenda.
The focus is the focus of enhancing productivity and enhancing the value of the lives of those that are producing it. So we, as Ministry of Water Resources, we provide service to the Federal Ministry of Agriculture, and both through at the center here, where we maintain a lot of these dams and irrigation facilities, and at the river basin level, where our experts are out in the field working with the Federal Ministry of Agriculture.
The Ministry of Water Resources has also commenced a number of initiatives to ensure success for the river basins. One such initiative being put in place that is worthy of note is the value chain concept.
In a typical production scene, you need irrigation to provide, like I said, all year-round cropping. So nobody's kept idle. All year people are working. The Federal Ministry of Agriculture, with his team, are providing the farmers all the equipment they need now that it's through kind of commercialized approach to people seeing agriculture as a business, as Dr. Adesina, the Minister of Agriculture, has been saying. After they produce, they have to process what is produced to add value to it and to evacuate it.
You recall that in the past we have only concentrated in growing these things in their raw form, and also trying to present them to the international market. And because of that, we are not able to get the best in terms of income or economic value on these products. In order for us to get more, and also for the farmers to get maximum benefit from what they're doing, that we have to create value chain. We should be able to, in an area where you have irrigated farmland, you should be able to put up power in the place so that you support whatever agro industries might come up. So the intention of government is to ensure that facilities are adequately provided, and farmers are also trained in basic skills to process their products, or those who might not be involved directly in farming can also come up to set up small cottage industries, agro-allied industries, packaging industries that would assist in order to improve on the whole value around our products. And we believe that when this is done effectively, that it's not only the income of the farmers that will be improved, but the livelihood of the farmers will be improved. Also, the income levels for Nigeria would also improve, and that will also help the country to begin to de-emphasize, our dependence